Hello. I greet you on this in this fourth day of the ninth wave of the evolution of human consciousness at 4:44 a.m. on July the 6th, 2011. Today's title is, of course, the ninth wave. Satisfied slave or sovereign soul? As I sat in the atrium this morning, I didn't go to the meditation room. I just sat outside under the beautiful stars on a very still morning. It seemed to me that I have a choice how I wish to see myself. Perhaps we all do. Many seem as if they are already semi-satisfied slaves living in the land of illusions. Others, like myself, recognize something more. Who am I, and what experiences do I wish to have? I choose liberation. What do you choose? Yesterday I talked about odious debt and our divine destiny, and I by no means exhausted the subject. I've been realizing for a period of time now how enslaved the human race is, and how ignorant most of the human race is, not even realizing how deeply enslaved they are. Some even call their slavery freedom, which from my perspective is laughable, which is why I chuckled. We live our whole lives, most of us, chasing money because we think money is the way that we gain what we want. And we either enslave others or we enslave ourselves. And the truth of the matter is, whichever side you're on, you're enslaving yourself to a game of illusion. Yet it's the game that we've obviously agreed to play on this planet, and we've been playing it for a long time. I'm grateful that there are so many dissatisfied slaves that are rising up around the world. Again, I keep pointing out how it's the Mediterranean region, Europe, Northern Africa, the Mideast, where people seem to be most displaying their discontent. And discontented, in my opinion, is exactly what we need to be. We need to be dissatisfied with the way things are, otherwise they will never change. Things will never change. It will stay the same. We will be what we are till the day that we die, and then we'll start over again. Never getting out of the prison until we acknowledge that we're in it. It's funny, but acknowledgement is really the first step. Recognizing that there's a lot of things in this world that are unsustainable, that seem to be going in the wrong direction. Yet, from the highest perspective, it's all perfect. I know, I hate to hear that too, because it sure as hell doesn't seem perfect in 3 dimensions, does it? When people take advantage of other people, rape, pillage, and steal seems to be the way that the world has been run for a long time, and it's been run by those that are in power, as they rape, pillage, and steal from everybody that doesn't see themselves as being powerful. So the few have been enriched at the expense of the many. And that's the world that we live in. Is it a world that we like? Is it a world we want to keep? Seems to me in this ninth wave we actually have a choice. It may not seem like we have much of a choice. It may seem as if we're powerless. But the truth of the matter is, sovereign souls are powerful beyond belief. And this is the time of awakening. This is the time of remembering, putting back the pieces of you that you've scattered in your soul's journey through time and space, bringing them, calling them back to yourself, and letting yourself become whole again for the very first time. We were whole. We were whole as spirits in some nebulous beginning. For infinite we are, eternal. Yet we chose to become incarnated, to take on flesh, to become physical beings. We chose that. Obviously, because we're here. We may not like it once we get here that we chose it, but we chose it nevertheless, or it would not have happened. Because in the divine cosmos, everything is done by consent, by choice. Everything. And truthfully, it is here on earth too. Although it may not seem so, we all consent, except our consent is ignorant. Yesterday I mentioned the odious debt and how humongous it is. It's mind-boggling. It's so astronomical. It's virtually incomprehensible to the human mind. Virtually incomprehensible how large the debt is. But how large the debt is an indicator of how much creative power we have individually and collectively. We can create all of this wealth just simply by adding zeros, by adding nothing. Zeros. And it just depends which side of the decimal point you put the zeros on. If we put them on the right side of the decimal point, it's wealth. If we put them on the other side, it's debt. Which side of the decimal point are you playing on? Are you a satisfied slave, debt slave? Or are you a sovereign soul, a creditor, one who creates, who is powerful, who knows that you are infinite and eternal, who knows that you are a divine child of the living God, who knows that you are a prince or a princess, a god or a goddess? Which is it? Which is it? Art the system helped us by creating slaves of each of us, made us fictional characters in our own story. And we identify with the fictional character, called a straw man. It's a corporation. All corporations are legal fictions. All governments are corporations. All governments are legal fictions. That's why they don't serve the people. They can't serve the people because the structure is built on, the foundation is a lie. It's a fiction. It's an illusion. Are you getting it yet? Are you understanding that the whole thing has been built on a fabrication that we have collectively agreed upon? And now we have the opportunity in this ninth wave to make a new choice as we awaken and as we see that we are slaves to a system of illusion, to a system of deception. We are slaves to that system. Yet, as I hinted at yesterday and as I will be talking about in days ahead, we are wealthy beyond measure. Our birth certificates in the United States, and I'm pretty sure in most of the world now, our birth certificates have value in this world of illusion. They have lots of zeros on the right side of the decimal point. And as the inflation continues in the world, the value of each birth certificate increases. So your corporation, becomes wealthier and wealthier and wealthier. And as long as you don't claim your own inheritance, there are lots of people in this world that are only too happy to live off your abundance, off your efforts, off your creativity, off your labor. And they are enriched, but they are you. They are the part of you that you don't want to own. And you are the part of them that they don't want to own, because it's all one thing. It's all interconnected. They need you, just as you need them to continue the masquerade, to continue the illusion. We need each other, don't we? Because it's a game. And if one of us stops playing the game and claims our sovereignty, oh my God, the whole structure is threatened, which is why the powers that be are threatened by the sovereignty movement that's going on around the world. They don't want the slaves to awaken. Why? Because that ends the game. That ends the game. There's so many things I could share, so many things that I've come to learn over the past months and few years, so many things that have awakened me to how the system works and how the game is played. To share it with most people, they'd think I was absolutely nuts. It couldn't possibly be that way because it's never entered even the wildest dream, let alone an actual thought, that the structure could be set up like that. But it is. It is. The wealth is in the people. Always has been, always will be. The wealth is in the sentient being. Creating, working, being, doing, thinking, feeling, doing. We're the doers. We're the ones that get to act out on the stage of life. And we get to weave the tapestry according to the way we want it to be. But there is a divine destiny that is also taking place, which is why we're in the ninth wave. We have a chance to bring this to a completion, to a conclusion. We have the opportunity to step into our sovereignty, to rise up out of slavery into something better, something more, something beautiful, something loving, something that is abundant for everyone, a win-win situation. Or we can continue the lose-lose situation. And let me tell you, even in the illusory system, even the winners lose. They may think they're winning, but they don't win, because you can't win in a game based on a lie. You can't win in a contest that is fixed. And let me tell you, the contest is fixed within this world. But let me tell you that cosmically it's also fixed, because ultimately we all wake up. Ultimately we all come home. God would have it no other way, for God is in the center of all creation, working everything after the counsel of God's own will. Everything. What's it going to take for you to wake up and reclaim your sovereignty? Well, I'll tell you what it will take first. You'll have to become a dissatisfied slave. And of course, dissatisfaction means you recognize that you are a slave, that you really didn't have much of a choice, that you've just simply acted and reacted all your life according to circumstances that you seem to have no control over. Well, that's changing now. As you awaken, you have the opportunity to become sovereign. What do you choose? I know what I choose. I choose liberation. I choose freedom. I'm going to leave you with that this morning. Maybe tomorrow I'll get to talk about St. Germain's World Trust. Maybe I won't. I never know. Namaste. God bless you.